you just learn.
And then obviously it leads me nicely onto the short lease, which is what is, again, a lot of people know you for that.
Yeah.
So when did you discover the short lease strategy, if you will? Because a lot of people try it and get it horribly wrong. So I guess, what are the dangers? And can you explain how we should approach this, if you could?
Yep. Yeah, because I do some mentoring in this anyway, like one-to-one mentoring. So I'll tell you how I started anyway, but as you probably heard from before, so I started buying flats because houses were too expensive in my area, so I thought I had to start buying, but only flats. And then most flats have leases on them. So after the credit crunch, I think it was about between 2010 and 2012, BM Solutions, or Birmingham Midshires nowadays, they restricted their lending. I had about 7 or 8 with them, and then after that, they said that you couldn't refinance. Well, I couldn't refinance anymore because their limit was down to like 3 buy-to-lets or 4 buy-to-lets at the time. So you can stay with us. Went on to the variable rate, which is like 0.99 above base rate. But I was happy because rates just went straight down to the amount of money I was making like per property. So, oh, you're changing to a fixed deal? I'm like, no, I'm staying on the variable rate. I'm not changing over. Interest rate's like 0 point something percent, you know what I mean? Paying peanuts. So, but they said, yeah, you can't take any fund because we've changed our criteria now. Only allowed, I think, like I said, 3 buy-to-lets with us. But you have 7 or 8, it's fine, you can stay, but no further lending. So I thought, all right, because the interest rates are so good, and I'm making big chunks of cash per month after the rentals, like mortgage being paid, I'm just leaving it. But then I thought, you know what, let me just take 4 of them out and move them over to TMW, which is the mortgage works. So I did that. 3 of them had decent leases, which is above 80 years. And then the last one had a lease which was, I think, 71 years. Or was it 70 years? And now, because of that, the surveyor from Connell said, oh, I don't think TMW will release the 30 grand out of this one for you. So I was like, is it? So yeah, because the lease is below 80 years, it's a bit short. So what you'd have to do is go get the lease extended, get it registered with Land Registry, and then send over the documentation to TMW, and then we'll release the rest of the funds for you. I said, okay, that's fine. So I've done that. With that particular one, actually, I wrote to the freeholder, asking them for a quote for the lease extension, voluntary lease extension. And I also put in, will you be willing to sell me the freehold? And with that one, they sold the freehold, which was good.
So you got the freehold for that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So Section 10, you got to tell the other flats in the block that the freehold is about to be sold. And if you want in, then you can come in. If not, you're made aware of it by the Section 10 notice that someone's going to buy it. It's changing hands. So the flat upstairs, because the conversion, the flat used to be a house, but it's converted into 2 separate flats. So I said, yep, I'm buying it. But I asked the flat upstairs if they wanted in or not. They said, yeah, they've got the money. Let's go. So we bought it for like 17.5 grand, I think it was. Bought the freehold. We paid like, is it 6.5, 8.5, 7.5 each, something like that, plus legals. And now we're on the freehold. And then what we did, we extended our own leases for a nil fee. So we put 999 for each of our leases after that. They went back to TMW, sent over documentation, then they released the rest of the funds. So I was like, oh, and it's a good idea.